It's 2025 and hell's about to begin. This one's for all my queer people, my trans people. I have made other videos in general and also for disabled people, but I'm focusing for queer and trans people right now. Here's my advice on surviving the second reign of Trump, which I don't believe he will leave office. I believe we're going full dictatorship and it's going to go bad fast. I know that sounds like a conspiracy theory, but if you've been paying attention, you're like, yes. So here's my advice. Of course, I'm no lawyer or anything. This is just one person trying their damnedest to do something. If you can't afford anything else, and I hate to say this because I know it's very offensive to trans people, correctly so, if you can pass as your original gender, your assigned gender, and you don't have your name changed or your markers changed, I strongly recommend getting a passport in the assigned sex and name. I know that's very degrading, and I apologize, but this is strictly like for emergency measures, because if he declares, war on trans people, which he has vowed from day one, and you need to leave, that's going to be your ticket. If you can't afford anything else, that's where I'd start. I gotta be honest, if you're not in a blue state, and even if you are, and you haven't already started your other paperwork, I wouldn't do it right now, personally, because I think it's going to put you, at the top of his watch list for shit, because those are all civil records and federal records, like of your sex, your SSN, etc. So if you haven't done it already, go with the passport if you're able to. And I apologize. I know that's so offensive to say go as your assigned gender, but this is so you live. The next thing I'd say is start following, preferably from an account that doesn't tie to your face or name or location, because, I would start following any and all close to me local queer and trans groups, because I've noticed on the ones I follow on Instagram, they're occasionally posting there first when they have mutual aid to help people move, or they, can help you get HUD set up, etc. So, I don't know, I'd put a 150-mile radius on it personally. And they're going to have a hard time coming up. So it might come to where being trans is a block tag on Meta, etc. Make sure you got the names, their websites, you have this saved somewhere offline. As for your profiles, you can do what you like, but for safety, again, I lock it down. Make sure it doesn't openly say trans. If you have a picture of your face, have it covered like a mask or, shadow kind of thing. And be very careful on location. Personally, I never put my personal name or location on anything because I was stalked and harassed, and it's not fun. Do not recommend. Okay, so then the next thing is currently 31 states have address confidentiality programs. I don't foresee these being killed under Trump because I don't think he even knows that they exist. That's a good, safe way to get mail from any of these groups if you need to. The thing is, say you live with homophobic parents, whatever, the mail comes to what you say is your address. So you might need a P.O. box as well, depending what's going on. I know this is all money, so the basicest thing I'd say is lock down your profiles, follow those groups, at least know about running a P.O. box, etc. if you need to. And what was the first one? And if you can do the passport, do it. It's usually about $150 and it lasts for 10 years. Okay, so then, now that we've got all that locked down, this is a controversial one, and I must tell you, I'm not a Democrat or Republican. I am an extremely liberal anarchist. 5 years ago even, I would never say this. And I want to preface, if you have mental health issues, maybe it's not a good idea. If you safely and legally can get a gun and learn to shoot, I do think it's a good idea. Same for self-defense tips, like, poking in the eyes, the groin, etc. Because I don't know what's going to happen. So at least have something to protect yourself. If you feel like a gun is too dangerous for yourself, get a good taser, bear spray, and sorry, my brain's just like blacking out here. Also make a go bag. That would be at least like a week's worth of food and water for you and or pets and or children. Change of clothes, all your medicines for at least a week, if not longer. And this is something that if, God forbid, you had to go and you had to go right now, this is what you take. Put your, at least copies, if not the originals, your important papers in there. Print off maps to safe places. Like if you're in the South, then you probably want to hit whatever blue state is nearest. Print that shit off because you just don't know. If you do have a car and it's just yours, I would say even keep it in there, because in the event you have to go, you have to go. And if you're able to, save a little bit of cash. I know this sounds really, really dramatic. One of the trans Reddits accused me of whipping people up into fear. That is not my wish at all. This is 100% what I'm telling my sister and nephew. My nephew is trans. They live in a very blood red state. I'd rather you were prepared and you never needed any of this than you needed it and you were not prepared. So if anyone would like to add some tips, that's great. And I will be trying to curate like local links on Friended Gyms. I have not begun yet, but if you have any to recommend, let me know.